In honor of today being Valentine's Day, here's things that exes and guys that I had things with did to me over the past couple of years. And this is in no particular order. I was told that I was not allowed to go out to the bars, to frats, to any kind of party where there would be men. Then when I did anyways, I was yelled at and told that it's not that I don't trust you, it's I don't trust other guys. I got broken up within 2 Snapchats, and when I was crying begging for an explanation, I did not receive one. Then we got back together over the summer, and I decided that I wanted to go off to college and not be with him, so I did the same thing, broke up with him in like 2 Snapchats, and he threw a whole fit when the Uno reverse card was pulled on him and told everyone I cheated on him. When it was our second Valentine's Day together, I offered to help contribute to dinner because this man had no money, and he said no, he wanted to get me flowers, so he ended up getting me flowers and complained the entire time how they were $50 and now he has zero money and I should be very appreciative. I even offered to help pay for dinner because I'd rather do something that we can do together, but he insisted on flowers and complained about how expensive they were the entire time. The whole family got broken up with 3 days later. Told me that he no longer thought it was a good idea for him to sign a lease with me because it would make no sense for him financially since he was only going to be there on the weekends, and then completely screwed me out of multiple apartments because now I had to do everything in my name and the double income was like gone. Then when I did get an apartment, obviously I was paying for everything. He would just essentially live there and not contribute to anything and just mooch off of me. We would be hanging out and he would be scrolling on his phone and this one Instagram model once popped up, so I looked over and I was like, oh, who is that? And he basically showed me her whole page and told me that if I worked out or got boob implants or started actually paying attention to trying to grow my butt and my boobs, that I would also look like her. And then he offered to pay for a boob job so I could look like her. Would yell at me when I would ask him to unfollow Instagram models or other girls that I was not really comfortable with him looking at. The reasoning I got for why my boyfriend was liking a bunch of girls' pictures was, oh, I don't really look at what I like, I just like anything that comes up on my Instagram timeline. For my birthday, and he knew that I had a really bad association with my birthday up to that point because I had some terrible friends in the past that really ruined it for me. I was told that he was going to take me out to dinner about 20 minutes away, which was like a couple exits away from where I lived. Then the day of my birthday came, he decided that he doesn't want to take me out to dinner. He's way too tired and needs to rest and recharge. So when I offered to drive, he said no, it's too far, handed me a $100 bill and said go crazy. And this was after I told him I wanted my birthday to be special because it had been ruined for me for years leading up to this birthday. Threw a whole fit about having to move me into my apartment. I would take the city bus all the time and I would ask for a ride sometimes because some of the people on the city bus really scared me and made me uncomfortable. And then one time when I realized I was getting followed home, I asked if he could come meet me at a different bus stop so I can get off the bus faster. He threw a whole fit because he can't relax and stay at home. He has to come and get me. The bus once also broke down and then he threw a whole fit about having to come get me. The ride was like 10-15 minutes down the road, but oh my god, it's so annoying. I have to go get her. The bus broke down and she's stranded. How annoying. When I was upset about a TikTok hate comment about my appearance, he laughed at the fact that I was upset and said, well, maybe you shouldn't do TikTok if you can't handle comments like that. And then he went ahead and agreed with the hate comment. Told me multiple times to my face that he didn't like my Instagram post or how I looked and that I should take it down. When I put a business email in my TikTok bio, he laughed at me and said it was stupid. When one of my TikToks was blowing up, he said that it doesn't deserve to go viral and that the like to view ratio wasn't good enough. I told him I didn't want him visiting me a particular weekend in college. He threw a whole fit and said he was going to show up anyways. Friends all of high school. Right after high school, when we started getting romantically involved, dropped me and broke my heart. I got into a fight with one of my parents really badly when I was out to dinner with him, and when we sat down and I was crying because the fight was like really, really bad, the waitress came over and asked if I was okay, and then he looked at me and said that I was embarrassing him. Anytime we would go out to dinner, it was always a complaint over how expensive it was. But that complaint was never there when I was the one that was paying. I just remember this one. This one was actually crazy. When I wanted to go out and get a bowl to eat, I wanted to go get some Core Life and he wanted Chipotle. Because he offered to drive, we pulled up to Core Life, I got my bowl, went back into the car, then we went to Chipotle. He parked the car and said, all right, you're gonna come inside and pay for my bowl because I drove. And then when I looked at him and I was like, he was like, well, now you're gonna make me feel bad about it. Would get mad at me anytime I didn't want to. One time I forgot my food at home and I asked him if he could bring it to me at work and he threw a whole fit about having to carve time out of his day to come and bring me food that was my responsibility to bring. Told me not to worry about this one girl and then got with her right after we broke up. I was not allowed to date in high school, so when he demanded that I ask my dad if he could come over, and I finally did because he was pressuring me into texting him even though I was terrified and did not want to, and when the answer was no, he yelled at me. I asked him to brush his teeth twice a day, and he told me that he doesn't like the taste of toothpaste and I can't force him. Told me I'm too clean and that he should be able to leave his muddy boots wherever he wants and I shouldn't throw a fit about him putting mud everywhere. Found out I was not the only one when I looked over at his phone and there was tons of Snapchat notifications, girl, 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 all down his phone. would send me an Amazon list of all the Christmas gifts he wants, and if I missed something or wanted to do something out of the Christmas list, I would be complained to and told that I missed something and that I shouldn't have gone outside the list. I should have just stayed to what he wanted. And then every single time we did gifts for each other, he would complain about how expensive mine were. One time we were at a mall and I really wanted to go into Sephora and he refused to let me go into Sephora. So finally, when I begged him, he put a 5-minute timer on his phone. And then when I walked in there, he kept tapping his phone as the time was going down. So finally, I stormed out of the store because I will not be put on a time limit. And I didn't like how he was rushing me. And then proceeded to get mad at me when I was upset that he did that. Started a whole fight knowing that I was at a family function and said, yeah, I know that you're at a family function. I think it's the perfect time to start bringing stuff up. Went from being one of my best friends to only hitting me up on Snapchat when he wanted to see me. Told me that I would be prettier if I had a bigger butt. Planned a whole date for us and then ghosted me. Slid into my DMs and asked for my contact information, talked to me for one whole summer, and then dropped me out of nowhere. Would pretend to not see me or not know who I am when we saw each other out at parties. Would compare me to OF models that he would subscribe and watch, and told me that I should try a little harder to look like them. Said that me working retail is stupid, even though that is what paid my bills for years. I would buy him presents from these retail locations that I worked at, and every single time it was, oh, this won't fit. No, I don't like this. I don't want this. Then I would start answering less and less because I was just distancing myself. I was emotionally done. He would freak out, spam text me, and essentially demand me to talk to him. Would make fun of Polish food that I had prepared or stuff that my parents brought me. Would make fun of me anytime that I would be upset and express that I wanted to see him and that I missed him. He would literally laugh at the fact that I would get upset that he was leaving somewhere. This being my second Valentine's Day single, I would say I am much happier knowing that I can be my own Valentine versus have someone complain about having to spend it with me. This was all about several people, not just one. Now that all these situations are done and over with and I experienced them, I find humor in coping with everything that happened, but I did learn a lot. Happy Valentine's Day. Never settle for anything less than you deserve. Bye.